happy readers, my name is Liz and today we're gonna catch up on all the bookish things because I finally fixed my camera. I needed to get a new lens. The other one was not opening up quite as well as it should have been / at all. It just stopped doing the things. And so, new lens, time to get to talking about some books. So how this is going to go is I'm going to talk about the books that I have recently read, the books that I'm currently reading, and then the books that I have picked up / have received in the past couple of months-ish. So this summer I have been on a total contemporary binge. I don't know what it's been. It's definitely my favorite genre of all of the YA. It takes me quite a bit to get into like fantasy and some of the other ones, and I just really haven't found too many other genres that I have. Let's be real, I've been lazy. I just love my contemporary. I've been reading a lot of Morgan Matson. I've read like almost every single one of her books. And then I decided to read To All the Boys I've Loved Before, and I saw that this was being made into a movie, and I've had the book since before the announcements were made and all that, and I was like, I'm gonna sit down and read it. And once, like, at first, I felt like, I don't know if I'm gonna get into this, and so I put it down after like a few pages or so, and then when I sat down and just like finally like read it almost in one sitting, it was probably like 2 sittings, I absolutely love it and tried to find it in my library and couldn't find it, so I definitely requested it, and so I'm waiting for those to come in, but I am super excited to finish this trilogy. Oh my goodness, I love the characters. Kavinsky, I think his name is, I'm like, I love you and I hate you, and the next door neighbor boy I'm not sure about because he seems like he has some sketchy moments, but I do love the girls. I love them so much. There are some mean girls in the book, but like these song girls are near and dear to my heart now, like for real. Before that I read Trouble Makes a Comeback, and this also was one that I kind of picked up, put back down, all that kind of stuff, and finally sat down and read the rest of it. This is the second book in this series by Stephanie Trombley, and it's one of those where it's like, there are some really good parts and there's some really crazy parts, and I really like her friendship with the one girl that you're like, how are they even friends? And they keep bringing up, they're like, how are we even friends? But it's such a great friendship, especially as it progresses throughout this book, because it's been a while since I've read the first book, Trouble is a Friend of Mine, and so yes, but this one, like, I feel like she could have wrapped up the story in this one, but basically the story throughout this series is that Digby, his sister, was kidnapped when they were very young, and his family was blamed for her disappearance and possible death and all this other stuff, and so it kind of definitely tore their family apart, and he has come back into town in this book and is trying to solve everything, and of course there's mayhem ensuing and all that stuff. It's, again, you've probably heard this, Veronica Mars is a definite, like, influence on this book for sure. There's a lot of like crazy stuff that happens that you're like, are they even going to be alive at the end of this book? But at the end of it you're like, okay, there's definitely going to be another book after this. I thought it was going to be like 1 book or 2 books or something like that, and then the author recently said on Twitter that there is going to be another book, so good, because this definitely does not wrap it up. It gives you like a little bit more of the story and more of what happened to his sister and what's going on in this town and all the crazy stuff that you're like, how is this happening? But overall, I really enjoy this series so far. I really like the characters and, again, just the mayhem that ensues. Books that I'm currently reading, I'm gonna start with Harry Potter because I just keep reading this between other books. So like, I think a few weeks ago I got through like half of the book in just a few days or so. I am just like relearning my love for Harry Potter. A couple of my friends have been rereading the series, and I'm just like slowly going through it, so I'm not like trying to read all of them in 1 month or anything like that, but I'm sure once like Harry Christmas to You, that whole readathon kind of thing comes around, I'll read like a couple of books in that, but so far I'm really loving it. I'm putting little tabs in there, and I have actually gone back into finding the original American covers and buying those because the other ones kind of disappeared. My sister has some of them, but like we don't know where like half of the series went, so I was like, I want to get my own and I want to get them all in hardback, so I've been doing that. The only one that I have left to find is the 4th one, so there is that, and the internet can be kind of sketchy. I went and replenished my Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants series, that's what it's called, and I thought I was getting the newer covers because I like those better. They just look better, and I end up with all the original covers, which is fine. I was just like, didn't expect it, so I'm not too keen on buying them online, but I've been finding them at half-price books, so I'm just gonna keep my eyes out for that one. And again, on the contemporary kick, I went to the library looking for the Laura Jean books and ended up seeing this one on the newer bookshelf, and it's I Believe in a Thing Called Love by Maureen Gu, and she's gotten a lot of praise recently, and just very much due, because I haven't read her other books. I think she has one before this one, not in a series but just standalone, and I don't know, it kind of caught my eye but I just didn't end up reading it. But this one is about a girl who she's just had really bad luck with dating and things like that, and she decides that she's going to watch a bunch of Korean dramas, also known as K-dramas, and she's like, I'm gonna use those like tropes and those rules, so to speak, to make a guy fall in love with me, or like not make a guy fall in love with her, but see if that works as a dating strategy, because she is like a type A, she is top of her class, she's in like every club and every honors society, doing all the things, the SGA president or something like that, like she's just everywhere and everything. So I am loving it so far. It's just super cute, and she is basically crushing on a guy in her. They were in a class together, but now they're in art club together, and she's just like awful at drawing, and she's just like, I'm just gonna do it, I'm gonna step out of my comfort zone. So I like that part of it, is that like, she's like, this is not my usual thing, and she's like, I might actually enjoy this, so I am interested in seeing how that goes. I am only 72 pages in, so yeah, super cute, I'm loving it. On audiobook, I'm reading a couple of different things, but the one that I'm like actively reading or listening to is Genuine Fraud by E. Lockhart, and to tell you what it's about is kind of difficult because it's definitely like a non-linear story and you're getting stuff as she goes along, but it's also like you're getting flashbacks and then present and then, well actually it kind of starts off at the present and then it goes back and then you kind of catch up to where she is now. But it's about this girl who, she is definitely a shady character. She's definitely like, you don't really know, like, you know who she is, like, you find out, like, more and more about her, like I said, but also she, has, pretended to be certain people or said that her name is such and such, and then, there are scenes where she's, like, going into an elevator and changing all her clothes and changing her wig and stealing people's wallets and identities and stuff like that, and so it's really crazy but really fun so far. Again, it's one of those like non-linear where like I feel like I'll be able to tell you as it ends like how I really feel about it, because again, like non-linear is kind of crazy where you're just like, okay, is this the present or is this again the past and then coming up to the present? I'm excited to finish it. I've heard some mixed reviews on it, but I am enjoying it so far. I like throwing in some non-linear every once in a while because it just like racks your brain just a little bit. So I will let you guys know how I feel about that when I'm finished. I'm probably like halfway through right now, so there's that, but I'm enjoying it and seeing her travel around the world and do all of her crazy things. I recently went to Decatur Book Festival and picked up a couple of books before that, and at Decatur Book Festival from Little Shop of Stories, but also I got some books for review, and so that's all of these. The first ones that I'll be talking about are from Elizabeth Healburg. These are some older ones, just a little bit older. This one's 2010, 2012, but I was like, I like some older YA sometimes. This one came out the last time she came to DVF, and I think this one came out more recently than that, and I've read her Lonely Hearts Club book, and that was so good, and so I'm excited to read these. These are a lot shorter than some of the other books that I've read recently, so these are some good like readathon books. I might leave these for some time or another, I don't know. There's so many readathons, guys. I'm not great at readathons, but if I sit down with like a tiny book, it works. And then I have two books from Entangled Teen, and these I got for review. This one is an ARC and this one's a finished copy, and I have heard some really great things about 27 Hours by Tristina Wright. I've seen a lot of her tweets and really enjoy her, but let's see, this is definitely, it's sci-fi fantasy, so I haven't read too many sci-fi. I've read a good bit of fantasy. I'm not like the biggest fantasy fan, but sci-fi definitely is one of my jams. I love it. I have not read this one yet, so I am gonna do that soon. This one comes out in October, so pretty freaking soon. And then we have Blackbird of the Gallows by Meg Castle. And this one seems really interesting and definitely like a Halloween kind of read that it looks like. And it says that Harbingers of death appear, the morgues will soon be full. And so this seems like it'll be, yeah, supernatural, battle between good and evil, never saw it coming, and somebody's not human, and oh my gosh, that kind of stuff. So definitely like a Halloween kind of read. I'm trying to, like, every once in a while, like every few years, I'm like, I'm gonna have a stack of like Halloween TBRs, and then like, yeah, I never end up reading them. But this one actually seems pretty cool, and again, it's like one of those short, ooh, I just saw this. I just interrupted myself, I know, but it's shorter, but also, look at that, like those chapter headings are really pretty. Like sometimes you have like a cute little thing, but this is like actually like designed. Like they all look like that, but real pretty. Two books that I bought at DBF and meant to get signed, but their lines were super long, and I was like, I just want to sit in the air conditioning and not worry about things. I got Miles Morales by Jason Reynolds and the Spider-Man. I have not read any of the Miles Morales comics. I want to so bad. I keep meaning to, because every time there's like a new reincarnation of Spider-Man, I'm like, can we have a new one now? I've heard really good things about this, especially since I saw him at DBF and he talked about the fact that they do mention some of his family members having, or like at least one family member going to jail, and you know, criminal records and stuff like that. And so like they talk about like really like the stuff that we're talking about now about like Black Lives Matters and things like that. And then we have this beautiful, beautiful cover. I'm reading this for a book club, but I was also like, I want to get a physical copy. I have the audiobook as well, but it's so pretty. It's so pretty. This is Wonder Woman Harbinger by Leigh Bardugo, and I have started the audiobook, and so it's been really interesting to see, you know, if there's any differences or anything like that from like the movies and stuff. I have not read any Wonder Woman comics, I don't think. It's just really cool to have a novelization of these superheroes. I know that I also have like Squirrel Girl and stuff like that I need to read, but so maybe we need to have like a superhero readathon. There's probably one already, who knows. There's just so many books to read. Oh my goodness. And last but not least, I showed this on my Instagram not too long ago, and it was when my camera was broken, so I'm sorry guys, I wasn't doing my duty, but I tried. But this is the Percy Jackson coloring book, and the artwork is by Keith Robinson, and the artwork, you see, I colored, but it's just, it's real good, very detailed. So if you're looking for something to color while you listen to audiobooks, like I like to do, if I'm not listening to them while I'm getting ready in the morning, this is a really good book to get, because it's just so amazing. So those are all of the books that I have been reading, currently reading, and are about to read. In the future I'm going to do more bring back a series that I used to do called, what did I call it? Oh my gosh, I need more coffee and less dust in the air. But I did one that was like when I'm currently reading, basically, like instead of just being like, here's a haul, like I've started reading this and this is how I feel so far. That stopped a little bit at the end there, so let me know in the comments below what you've been reading lately and who your favorite audiobook narrators are. And if you don't have a favorite narrator, just let me know what audiobooks that have been your favorite as of late. Hope you guys have a great day and keep reading.